Hello! Today we're going to wrap up 5.4, Dividing Polynomials, by using synthetic division. Okay, so the last lesson we did long division. Okay, so this is a little recap of what you could have gotten had you used long division. I personally prefer synthetic division. Okay, it's a lot quicker. You kind of ignore all the x's. Okay, synthetic is exactly how it sounds. It is fake division. Think of it like that. We can't use it every single time. Okay, it only works in certain instances, kind of like factoring, right? Factoring was by far the easiest way, in my opinion, for solving quadratics, but you couldn't do it all the time. Okay, so how do we do synthetic division? Well, step one is you take the denominator and you make it equal 0. So in this case, x equals 3. So we're going to put 3 in a little box and then list the coefficients of the numerator. So 6, negative 19, positive 1, and positive 6. So all the coefficients. You have your x cubed term, your x squared term, your x, and your constant. So no x. Skip a line. Okay. Now, follow the pattern. Okay. Bring down the first term. Always bring down the first term. Okay, now watch what I do. 3 times 6 is 18. So multiply what's in the box and put it here. Then add those terms. Negative 19 plus 18 is negative 1. Okay, now we're here again, so multiply with what's in the box. So we get negative 3. Then we add, then we multiply, then we add. Now, don't those look familiar? Yeah. 6, negative 1, negative 2, remainder of 0. So, this, your last number that you get from your synthetic division, is always going to be your remainder. Then you start going upwards. This is your no x, or your constant. This is your x term. This is your x squared. The next one in front of that would have been x cubed, then x to the fourth, x to the fifth, right? If we had this really massive synthetic division, okay? It always starts from the right side. So remainder, constant, okay? X squared, x cubed. So our answer is 6x squared minus x minus 2. Okay, notice we got the same thing. All right, as always, I'm going to do another example. So, step 1, set the denominator equal to 0 and solve. So we get negative 2. That goes in the box. Then we list the coefficients in descending order. Okay, so we have 1 for our x to the fourth term. Then we have our x cubed term. We don't have an x squared, we have to put a placeholder. So like in long division, where I said your placeholder was optional, okay, I just did it because it makes life simple, it kind of makes everything organized for me. All right, here, if you don't put that 0, your whole answer is wrong. Okay, you have to put your placeholder. Then we have our x term, so 13. And then we have our no x. Okay, so your constant. Well, I guess I should call that C for constant. And skip your line. Okay. So always bring down the first one. Multiply. Add. Multiply. Add. Multiply. Add. Multiply, add. So hopefully you got this with synthetic division. So the 0 here represents your remainder. The negative 3 is your constant. 8 is your x. Negative 4 is x squared. And your 1 is x cubed. So your answer is x cubed minus 4x squared plus 8x minus 3. Okay? All right, another way to check that is x to the 4th divided by x. So if I have 4 x's and I divide and I take one of those away, I'm left with 3. So I know I did a good job. Okay. Before, I had x cubed divided by x to the 1st. So x cubed divided by 1x is x squared. So I know I did my degrees correct. It's another way to check it. All right, why don't you try these two? Okay, number 4 is going to have something special to it, but you should at least get to the ending part. Okay, at least get to the end of the synthetic division. Okay, so pause it, and okay, you should have a 2 here, 1, negative 2, don't forget your placeholder, bring down the 1, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. This one was nice. So that's our remainder, constant, x, x squared, x cubed. So we get x cubed minus 2 minus 3 over x minus 2. Okay. Yes, you could have written x cubed minus 2 remainder negative 3. Okay. I just like writing it the proper way. All right, for this one's a little trickier. You're going to end up with x equaling negative 1/2. So I get a lot of people that are like, oh, that's too gross, Miss Cross. I hate fractions. Okay, trust me, it's going to come out nice. Okay, so bring down the 6. Well, negative 1/2 of 6 is just negative 3. We get negative 8. Multiply, you get positive 4. Oh, these numbers aren't so bad. Told you. All right, it should be okay. So then we get negative 3, negative 4. All right, now here's the thing. All right, this is not your answer. Okay, this one's weird because it had a fraction. Because we are dividing by 2, we need to kind of account for that, okay? And we're going to divide everything but the remainder by 2. So our new terms are going to be our new coefficients are going to be 3, negative 4, 3, negative 4. So that's still our remainder, that's still our constant, x, x squared, but we took half of this. Okay, so with synthetic, with weird, with fake division, you have to remember weird tricks. Okay, so if you get a fraction, you have to divide all the numbers but the remainder by that denominator. Okay? All right, there you have it. All right, practice a fraction 1 on your own. Okay, see what happens when you do this one. So pause it. All right, so now you're going to watch me do it. So your x is negative 3 over 2. So we put that in the box. We have 4, 2, negative 4, and 3. Bring down the 4. We multiply negative 6, negative 4. 6, 2, negative 3, 0. All right, because we had a fraction, we divide those by 2. So we end up with 2, negative 2, 1. Almost did that one wrong. Remainder, constant, x, x squared. So our answer is 2x squared minus 2x plus 1. No remainder. There you have it. Okay, just like with long division came something interesting, right? We learned whether or not it's a factor. Synthetic division also has a fun little trick with it, okay? In chapter 1, we did something with functions, or was it chapter 2? Either way. We did functions, and I asked you to plug p of negative 4. So we plug negative 4 in here. So that was doing this, doing negative 4 to the 4th power, minus 14, negative 4 squared plus 5 times negative 4 minus 3. So that seems easy enough, but for some reason, most of you would get this problem wrong, right? It usually had to do with the exponents and when we plugged in something with a negative, okay? It's just plugging it into our calculator. I don't know what it is. Kids fight me all the time. Well, when I plug negative 3 squared into my calculator, it tells me that it's negative 9. But I know that if I square negative 3, not cube it, if I square negative 3, that should be positive. So what's wrong with my calculator? I get this question all the time. All right, it's because that negative is sitting out front. Okay, it's kind of like when we think of, 2x squared. I'm only squaring the x, not the 2. So if I were to plug something in, just like what I did here, 14x squared, I'm squaring the negative 4, but not the 14. You see? So when I have that negative out front, it's kind of like, that looks really weird. Okay, kind of like negative x squared. So we're treating that negative like that 2. So it's outside. Okay, if you wanted to include that negative, you'd put parentheses around it, right? If you wanted to include it, you would have put a ring around it, right? Let's be honest. I know that was really lame, but I really hope you remember that, okay? So that's the way to do it, but again, we still mess that up. So there's got to be an easier way, Miss Cross, right? All right, it's called the remainder theorem, and it has to do with synthetic division, okay? So let's let synthetic save the day. So what we do is we put the negative 4, what we're plugging in, then we still list our coefficients, so 1, 0, negative 14, 5, and negative 3. And then I just do synthetic division. So we multiply, we add, we multiply, we add, we multiply, we add, we multiply, we add. Guess what happens when I plug in negative 4? My answer is 9. Don't believe me? Do it. Do negative 4 to the 4th power minus 14 times negative 4x squared. I'm sorry, negative 4 squared plus 5 times negative 4 minus 3. You will get 9. Guaranteed. Okay? Let's do it again. So, this is our polynomial. Plug in 3. Plug in negative 5. Okay? Yes, you can do it the old-fashioned way. If you just want to plug it into x, fine, go for it. But I guarantee it, some of you guys are going to mess that up, and I'm going to give you no credit. So, do it with synthetic. I promise it makes life easier. 2, negative 7, 5, and negative 1. Right? Most of us usually don't mess up with our adding and multiplying. It's those exponents that really mess things up. So, we multiply, we add. We multiply, we add. We multiply, we add. This is 5. If you plug in 3, you'll get 5. Number 7. Multiply, add. Multiply, add. Multiply. Ooh, not 80. What am I doing? Negative 70. So negative 66. There you go. So that's the fun tricks of synthetic division. All right. If you've got any questions, just ask me in class.